Today, we're going to talk through what appears to be another pretty big loophole with eBay's authenticity guarantee program for sports cards and trading cards. Now, if you're not sure what this program actually is, it's essentially something they put in place last year to protect both buyers and sellers. It's a service that basically any card that sells in the US over $250 is mandated to go through this process to then, try and protect both parties, right? So if the card sells for over $250, it goes to this authenticity guarantee center. They review it to make sure it's in line with the description. They review it to make sure that it's a genuine card. And then if it does pass the test, they ship it to the buyer. This protects the buyer because they're not going to get a fake card. They're not going to get anything disingenuously. But then it also protects the seller by, sort of preventing the buyer from making up a lie about the card never being received, but also that the card is not in line with the description because eBay themselves have checked it. Now, we've spoken about this many times because there's been plenty of loopholes within this process, and we've seen people try and bypass it by, putting fake cards in lots with, $1 cards to try and bypass it completely. This is what, eBay was trying to prevent with single cards. So now these scammers have shifted to lots. This is something that I like in theory, like I said, but in reality, they've sort of dropped the ball in a couple of places, particularly with, not being able to capture lots or figure out ways to try and, prevent scammers from taking advantage of things like that. This program has also dropped the ball by sometimes rejecting cards that it shouldn't have. It's also approved cards that it shouldn't have sometimes as well. So it's one of those things that sounds really cool in theory, but then in application, in practice, they've not done a good enough job to implement this. And because of that, a lot of people have, crapped on the program and said it's not very good at all and it shouldn't even be there. I can understand, the frustration that you might have as a collector, but I look at it from the perspective that anything to try and give more comfort to us as both buyers and sellers, anything to bring somewhat of a guarantee to their platform is a good thing. I just think they need to be doing better when they come to policing it and managing it. And that goes again, that logic of them needing to do better goes again to this loophole, because what somebody reached out to me about after they found out themselves is that when a card fails authentication, right, eBay doesn't do anything to then monitor that single card again in the future. So this Lionel Messi was bought by an individual. It went to the authenticity guarantee because it met the threshold. It failed. And we don't know why it failed because they don't always tell you why. But then this, seller gets it back and they list it again, right? And as you can sort of see here, it's now listed again. It then sells again, goes to the authenticity guarantee, and then fails again. And it just keeps going through this cycle. And it's a really interesting one because, there could be many reasons why this card failed. eBay at one stage were failing things if, the name was misspelled in the description, right? It could be something as simple as, spelling refractor wrong, right? And then eBay would review it and they'd fail it for that reason. That's not what I'm talking about here. These cards are failing the service that don't appear to be having that kind of basic error. So why are they failing? And if it's failing for, a reason that eBay thinks these cards are not genuine, okay, eBay, why aren't you digging a bit deeper on this, right? Why aren't you working with that seller to say, okay, we don't think this card is genuine for this reason. We don't think you can list this card again on our platform. Sorry, we're going to ban every single time that you list this on your platform. And again, that's a hard thing to police, but that's something you'd expect them to be doing, especially if they're failing the card for a specific reason, right? If the card is fake or they've got really, big concerns around it, that's what they should be doing. And this person has also experienced some other things with other cards, right? It's a bit hard for you to see here, but this LeBron James was another one they bought that failed, that has since popped up again multiple times. Again, eBay, what are you doing in this space? And the reason why I'm talking about it is not so much to sort of, crap on the program. It's more so to hold them accountable. And then also for you as a potential buyer, monitor 130 point, which you probably are anyway when you're looking for comps. But if you're not, you need to be looking at 130 point, because if you're seeing why your card that you might be wanting to buy has been on there multiple times and been bought multiple times, you have all these comps indicating it's been sold this many times, but it's clearly failing the authenticity guarantee, that's a big question mark. And that's something you should try and clarify with the seller before you do decide to buy the freaking card. Or it should be a red flag, don't even look at the card in the first place, to stop bidding on the card. This talking point as well around 130 point and how, some of these same transactions of the single card keep popping up, very clearly the same listing because they're failing the program. Some of these like apps like Market Movers and things like that are recording these as genuine transactions within there. They're clearly not genuine transactions when the same card keeps failing. It's not a genuine transaction. So you need to think of ways to make your app a little bit better and remove those, moving forward. So again, this loophole was not, as alarming on face value as the ones I've raised in the past around the people scamming via lots and things like that. But it's something you should be aware of, right? If you want to be buying a card off eBay, you need to be aware of this because these cards are failing for a reason. And I would say for most of them, it's not something superficial. They're failing for a legitimate reason. And you need to be very careful when you're looking to buy these yourself. Just keep that front of mind, and also, let your friends know as well. Not necessarily watch my video, because, I do this to educate. I don't do this for the clicks or views or anything like that. So if your mates are not aware, let them know. Let them know the same thing. Let them know if they were aware. Let me know if, down below, if you know anyone that's sort of gone through this experience, and what the feedback has been from eBay. Because if you're a seller that's had to go through this multiple times and you think you've done a genuine thing and you haven't done anything wrong, let me know what eBay's told you, right? Because I'm really keen to understand, what eBay is trying to do in this space. Because on face value, it's a fantastic program. They've just dropped the ball significantly with regards to implementing it, right? They do a really good job in this space, because they also do it for luxury watches. They also do it for handbags, designer bags, and, sneakers. So it's a cool thing in practice, but it's like, you guys did all this really cool work and hard work to try and get something going, but you dropped the ball with these very basic errors, right? Again, it's a hard thing to police a seller trying not to relist the code or relist it on the different platforms, but eBay, have enough money and enough analytics behind the scenes to be actively tracking that specific card. How hard is it for them when they've failed a transaction or failed a card, right, to then put some kind of flag in the back end to try and, search for this one thing? I work in the tech and innovation space. I work in data analytics, and I know like the issues you can run into from a volume of data and a volume of searching that you're trying to look for, and all that sort of stuff. But this is something they could do if they wanted to. So my question is, okay, eBay, you've implemented this program to try and make the hobby better, to try and protect your customers, to try and protect, both buyers and sellers. You want to make your platform safer for everyone. So why have you sort of done the bare minimum with regards to implementing it, but then not done the little things, all these other little things that would make your program so fantastic, but why have you not done them, right? Same sort of thing with lots. I'm sure there's ways that eBay could, factor in lots, like put the onus on the buyer to request it going through this program if they wanted it to, right? If I want to buy this Mickey Mantle card and I think you as a seller are scamming me by putting it in this lot or trying to bypass something with some other loophole we've discussed, let me click a button to say, okay, I want this to go through the program because I think this person's trying to scam me. What's wrong with that? That's your smoking gun to try and fix this moving forward. So I know I went on a bit of a rant today and spoke about more than one loophole, more than the one I wanted to flag for you all today, but my mind gets going sometimes. So please let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you've gone through this yourself, as I mentioned earlier. That's sort of it for today. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.